is what we discuss about the problems related to the addressing modes what we have discussed previously. So the coming to problem, what are the memory addresses of the operands in each of the following cases of indirect addressing modes? So it is asking to determine the memory addresses of the operands and it has to be considered the indirect addressing mode. So in each case, what will be the content of the address register after the memory access? So that has to be determined. Assume that the initial contents of the address register and the offset register are 0200H. So these are the memory location 0200H and 0010H. So depending on this, one address register is 0200H, then the offset value or offset register is 0010H. So first instruction is given add address register. Then it is post decrement operation which is done. You can see that here post decrement. Second one add same address register. So it is pre-increment operation which is to be done. Then addition offset register with address register and post increment operation to be done. Then again addition with the address register and offset register and post decrement operation to be carried out. So this is about the problem statement which is given. So looking into the solution, see the addressing modes what we identify is post decrement. Then the next instruction given includes post increment. Next pre addition and offset, then post subtraction and offset. Okay, so that is what we consider here in the solution. And operand address is specified 0200H and the address register content after accessing this instruction. So this instruction is 0200H address -1 because it is a post decrement. So we are decrementing the value by 1. So address value is decremented by 1. It is pointing to the previous address or previous location in the memory. So that is 0200 minus 1. That is giving us 01 FFH. Then pre-increment. So pre-increment is that initially we are going to increment the content of the address register. So the content of the address register is 0200. So we are going to increment it by 1. So the result is 0201H. So that is the address register content after accessing this instruction. Then we have pre-address offset. So here what we have is the addition of these two addresses. One is the address register content and the offset register content. So that is 0200 added with 0010 giving us 0210H. So that is the content after the execution of this particular instruction. Then post subtraction offset. So what we do is we are subtracting the offset register content from the address register. So that is 0200 is subtracted 0010 is subtracted from 0200. So that is giving us 01F0H. So here just we are decrementing, here we are incrementing. Then here what we are doing is the addition of addresses, here subtraction from the address register content. So that is about first problem. Coming to the second problem, we have to identify the addressing modes of the operands in each of the following instructions. So we have to just identify the addressing modes. So instruction is specified here. Address or value given is 1234H. So we can see that there is a hash symbol given or specified in the instruction. So that is nothing but immediate addressing mode. So addition of that with the 1234H. Then add 1234H. Then third one add AR plus. It means that AR is the auxiliary register. So whatever content we have in the register, that's get added to the content of the accumulator depending on the instruction specified. So if I go with this address offset register with the content of auxiliary register, so we are going to add it up. So here we are going to identify. So this addressing mode, what we consider is add 1234H, it is immediate addressing mode, and add 1234H, that is direct addressing mode. So the difference is only with the hash indicating the immediate and direct addressing mode as separate addressing mode here. Then add AR plus, so that is post increment indirect addressing mode. So we are pointing to the content of the auxiliary register, so AR. So that is indirect addressing and it is post increment. So increment is done after the instruction execution or operation of this addition process. Then pre-sub offset indirect addressing mode. Again here it is pointing to the offset register and decrement operation of the offset register. So that is auxiliary register. So we consider it as indirect addressing mode. Then we have special addressing modes which are considered. So special addressing modes are two types. I have already told you about this circular addressing mode and bit reverse addressing mode. So for the implementation of some real-time application, we require some special addressing modes other than the normal addressing modes what we use in the system or the processor supported by the processor. So here what we have is circular addressing mode. While processing the data samples coming continuously in a sequential manner, we require circular buffers. So whatever data is considered to be flowing through the flowing through as a samples, so if they are continuously considered in a sequential manner, we require a circular buffer to store it. So in a circular buffer, the data samples are stored sequentially from the initial location till the buffer gets filled up. So that is what we considered in a circular buffer. So the samples are stored sequentially from the location till the buffer is filled up. Then once the buffer gets filled up, the next data sample will get stored once again from the initial location. So that is what happens once the buffer is filled up. The next data samples will be stored once again from the initial location. So that is what we consider in the type of addressing mode here. So this process continues until the data is available and the data is processed in a very faster manner compared to the incoming data rate. So how fast the incoming data is incoming, with that rate the system is going to perform faster. So circular addressing mode requires three registers. So one is PNTR. We consider it as a pointers register to hold the current location. So it will hold the value or what is called as address of the current location. Then we have SAR and EAR. That is starting address of the register of a buffer to hold the starting address and end address of a register to hold the ending address of the buffer. So that is what we require in a circular buffer. So this is a circular buffer and this is the initial location, this is the last location. So that samples are sequentially stored here one after the other. So the address of each location is identified where the samples are to be saved or to be stored. Then there are four special cases in this addressing mode depending on the address. So one is starting address register content is less than the end address register, and the starting address register content is lesser than the end address register, but the updated pointer is greater than the end address register. And in the second case, the pointer is lesser than the starting address register. It means that the pointer is pointing to the address whose address is greater than the end address. And in the other case, the pointer is pointing to a location wherein the address is lesser than the pointer register. So SAR is greater than EAR and updated pointer is greater than SAR. It means that the starting address register is greater than ending address register value, but the updated pointer is greater than SAR. So the address is greater than SAR. Similarly, SAR is greater than EAR and the updated pointer register is lesser than EAR. It means that whatever value you get for a pointer register, say for example 1000, so this 1000 will be lesser than EAR. So that is, for example, 1010. So this address is lesser than this. The pointer is lesser than EAR. The buffer length in the first two cases will be this EAR minus SAR plus 1, whereas in the next two cases will be SAR minus EAR plus 1, wherein in this case end address is greater than the starting address, whereas in this case starting address is greater than the ending address. So that we have to note when we go with the four special cases what we come across in the special addressing mode, that is circular addressing mode. Then this is a pointer updating algorithm for the circular addressing mode. So we can just look into this. If SAR is less than EAR and if the updated pointer is greater than EAR. So we have four conditions to be specified, wherein SAR is less than EAR and SAR is greater than EAR, and the updated pointer content is greater than or less than EAR or SAR. So that is the condition what we consider. So based on that, we are going to identify the algorithm which is required for updating a pointer register. Done. So this is what we consider as the four cases. So one is SAR, then the other is EAR, and we see that there is a updated pointer. So updated pointer should be lesser. Here the updated pointer value is above this, that is above SAR. So we can see that updated pointer is above SAR. Here the updated pointer is below EAR, that is end address register. And coming to the third, you can see that the updated pointer is below SAR and also below EAR. So here if I consider EAR is greater than SAR, here SAR is greater than EAR. Similarly here you can see that the updated pointer is greater than the end address register, whereas the end address register is greater than the starting address register. So this is what we consider in the circular addressing mode. Then coming to the problem, the DSP has a circular buffer with the start and the end address specified as 0200 and 020FH. So this is the starting address and this is the ending address. So this is SAR and this is EAR. So what would be the new values of the address pointer of the buffer if in the course of address computation it gets updated to this? So 0212H and 01FH. FCH. So solution, buffer length we know that it is obtained by subtracting SAR from EAR and adding 1 to it or incrementing by 1. So that is what we get, 020FH minus 0200H. So 020F is the end address register, SAR address is 0200. So we are subtracting 0200 minus from 020FH and incrementing it by 1. So that is giving us 10. So 10 is the buffer length. Next, new address pointer is updated pointer minus a buffer length. So this you have to note. New address pointer is updated pointer minus a buffer length, which is 0212 minus 10. 0212 is this value what we have been given. So 0212 minus 10 will give us new address pointer. That is a new address pointer which is based on the buffer length and the updated pointer value. Similarly, the other new address pointer is updated pointer plus the buffer length. So that is 01FC plus 10, that is 020CH. So that is what we get for this particular example. Then repeat the problem for SAR is 210 and EAR is 201H. So now we look into this SAR and EAR values. So from this SAR is greater than EAR, it indicates the buffer length is obtained by subtracting EAR from SAR. So SAR minus EAR plus 1 is 210 minus 201 plus 1. So that is giving us 10H. Now we have to identify the new address pointer which is obtained by updated pointer minus a buffer length. So that is 012 minus 10, which is 02H. Similarly, the next one 01FC plus 10, will give us 0 to 0ch. So that is again updated pointer plus the buffer length what we have. Then second type of special addressing mode is bit reverse addressing mode. So normally in FFT algorithms we are going to use this bit reverse addressing mode where the data to be accessed in a bit reverse manner. We consider here in two ways. One is a bit reverse input and natural output, or natural sequence input and bit reverse output. So we consider this special addressing mode as bit reverse addressing mode, and it is used to calculate the index of the next data which is to be fetched. So if I have the index specified, which is the present index, I can calculate the next index. That is the current index what we normally use here. If we know the previous index, I can find out the current index. So if I know the index is 0, I can find the next index is 4. So that is depending on the FFT size. If it is 8. So it works as follows. So we'll start with the index 0. The present index can be calculated by adding half the FFT wavelength. So we can see that half of FFT size. So to the previous index in a bit reverse manner, carry being propagated from MSB to LSB. Normally when we perform addition, the carry is propagated from LSB to MSB, but when we perform bit reverse addition, we see that the carry is propagated from MSB to LSB. So this is the form what we use to calculate the current index. So you can see current index is previous index plus B stands for binary here, half of FFT size. If FFT size is 8, half of FFT size will be 4. So value of 4 in binary will be added to the present index or a previous index to get a present or current index. So for example, we see here we take one example. So for example, first index is 0, 0, 0, and next index has to be calculated. So present index is 0, 0, 0 plus binary value of 4. So binary value of 4 is 0, 1, 0, 0. So if I add, I'll get 4. So first index is 4, next index is first index is 0, next index is 4. Similarly, if I consider the present index is 4, I can find the next index. So if the present index is thus 4, so 4 plus the previous index, so binary value in of the FFT size. FFT size what I have used here is 8 for 8-point FFT. So this is the binary value of FFT size, which is 4. And here again binary value of FFT size is 4. But here the index was 0, so 0 plus 4. Here the index was 4, so 4 plus 4. But whenever I perform addition and carry is propagated from MSB to LSB, the present index results in 2. So the index will be like this: 0, 4, 2, and so on. So you can see that here 0, then 4, 2, 6, 1, 5, 3, 7. So this is a bit reversed order. This is a natural sequence. So depending on this value, I can find the bit reverse index. Then comes the address generation unit. It is normally used to generate the address of the operand which is required for carrying out any operation. And they have to be very fast in order to satisfy the timing constraint, because whenever we go with the DSP implementation, the number of samples are huge, and using this number of samples for computing anything, we require a timing constraint, so it should be very fast. Then address generation unit will perform mathematical operation in order to calculate the operand address, and it is provided in the separate ALU. So the address generation unit typically involves the following operations. One is getting value from the immediate operand or a register or a memory location. So this is what we consider. Then incrementing or decrementing operation also to be done by the address generation unit. So current address either to be incremented or to be decremented. then adding or subtracting the offset from the current address, then adding or subtracting the offset from the current address and generating a new address according to circular addressing mode, that is a special addressing mode what we use. Then generating a new address using bit reverse addressing mode. The block diagram of a typical address generation unit is as shown below. So this is the address generation unit. We can see that there is offset which can be generated, circular buffer length which can be identified, FFT length can be determined, bit reversal addition can be done, modulo addition can be done, and next address generation can also be done. So this is about next address generation unit which is used in this DSP.